Tak. Okay, so I think that on the beginning it's good to introduce yourself, so who you are and where we are.
Hello, am I talking to? Hello, my name is Marta Ljubková and I'm a dramaturg, and I would like to welcome you here in front of Vzlet, which is a strange name, and it means taking off, the moment when the plane takes off.
Okay.
And it's one of the newest Prague alternative culture venue, even though it was built in 1920 as a community cinema.
Okay. And your role here is?
I would call myself a dramaturg, which somehow covers all various kind of programs, educational program, theater program, visual arts program, but at the same time we have quite substantial team of specialists who concentrate on each of those, I would say, culture lines.
Okay.
For instance, now here we see our street gallery. This is one of our several galleries, and here at the moment we present photographs and stories of people from the locality. This is one of the main dramaturgical feature of a Vzlet, to connect somehow with the locality.
Yeah, I also felt like that you are really trying to consider the context that is around this building and in this quarter of Prague.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like you are going to, so to say, like create theater shows that are related to the space or something like that, or is it more like flavor or the ambience of how the space works?
In fact, we are experimenting with this approach at the moment because it's easier to be said than to be done. But the fact is that this venue does not sit or is not in the center of Prague. And this is where most of the culture venues are, in the center of Prague. We are in Prague number 10, which is not one of the peaks of the alternative culture. So we are trying to articulate for ourselves how much it's embedded or should be embedded in the local culture. At the moment we are collaborating with local schools, and we are trying to open, in collaboration with Academy of Performing Arts students, the whole dramaturgical line of project connected directly with this quarter. As you can see here, we are opening a club for animation movies, so we are trying to get here local children. We are trying to approach, let's say, local mothers to spend their time downstairs in the coffee, etc. The main concern for me is that this place is not meant only for the theater, but it's more like in a general culture venue.
I think it's really important to kind of be in relationship to the part of the city where you are.
At the same time, this venue is not a theater itself. So the architecture and the structure of the venue kind of leads you in your program. You don't have stage and auditorium. You have several little rooms as the small foyer, which we open up for discussion or smaller students' projects. And we are heading towards the very toppest room, which originally was supposed to be offices, then we didn't know, and then I think it's going to be offices again, and we are meeting Prokop, who is the head of Vzlet.
Hello.
Hello.
So you are head of Vzlet. What does it mean? What is your work here?
I'm the director, so I'm responsible for all the organizational stuff, but also for the programming and the artistic issues, together with Marta and Jirka Havelka and other guys. But in fact, I'm the head of the organization, so
that's your work.
That's my work.
And I think now it's kind of like a good moment to tackle. So maybe the whole structure of the organization, because as I recognize it, there are basically like three separate organizations that makes the whole Vzlet. So maybe how is that, or who are those organizations?
In the beginning, we decided to make a project together with Collegium 1704, Collegium 1704, which is a Baroque orchestra of classical music. and together with Kino Pilotu, which is a local cinema here in Vršovice, in this neighborhood, and together with Divadlo Vostopět, Theatre Vostopět Theatre, which is my like home company. It's a theatre, independent theatre company. And we decided to make this project because Prague 10, this district of Prague, they decided to find a new operator or a new company to run this place, because this place was originally, maybe you talked about it before, it was a cinema and then was like empty for a couple of years, and they renovated the whole building. And
so just to check the timeline, because like it was opened in
100 years ago.
100 years ago. Yeah. So then it was the cinema, and then
until 1974.
1974, then it was closed for the whole 90s.
Because the state of the building was so bad, so they have to close it because of the for the safety reasons.
The toilets is the second point. The most important point is the beautiful view over the main foyer, which we can, as you can see on the walls, we use them for the exhibitions as well. So you can kind of, the visual art pops up everywhere, pretty much in the whole building.
Like very important question is also because like the audience of this guided tour are mainly theater professionals from whole Europe and from Czech Republic. What is your approach to dramaturgy? People can ask you to cooperate with you, or what is the process, or how you are choosing the projects that are going to be shown here? Of course, there are like the home organizations, like you said, Collegium and Vostopět, that's obvious. And a part of that?
So we have some of our shows and we want to produce like more, because at the moment there's not many, but we want to have like a regular dramaturgical line. And at the same time we would like to open up, and we have, as I said before, new dramaturgical line of student project, which don't necessarily have to be like proper show, but they can have various formats like film or whatever, audio versions, but of course shows as well. And we plan on various like open calls or addressing various artists to work with us. And I would like sooner or later to start with an international co-production. Either it means inviting foreign groups, but it's the most complicated way. But I think there is a big potential to enter co-production and work more on international scale, because I know there are various venues like this with similar program that might be interesting for us or for them to collaborate with us. But I'm talking only about theater, and theater is the most complicated. There are various little things which can be done immediately right now. Right here, for instance, we are in the corner space, which has various usage. It can be a showroom, it can be exhibition space, but at the same time it can be a place where a little project that can be observed from the street can happen, etc., etc. So those are little projects which are happening one by one, and we have to develop more our, like, let's say, more main stage or bigger projects.
And also, I remember that during the pandemic, when everything was closed, I remember that you did, for example, your Vostopět talk show, cafe, ve Vzletu here, and so people were like outside and were looking inside.
Yeah, we're still using this space because there's this contact with the outside. So many things we did here, and I think because we used it during the pandemic times, but also I think we're gonna use it in the future as well, because it's a nice place, and we call it Rohovka, which is in Czech like in the corner somehow, but also it means some part of the eye.
Yeah.
So you can look inside.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
This is a rehearsal room which is not very big, so this is the disadvantage of the original aim of the building, because it was built as a cinema, and when you build up movie theater you don't need rehearsal room. So when Petr was talking about the reconstruction and stuff, I think we are still in the process of actually searching what is possible in the building, where we should think about something, and where we shift things from one place to another and rethink it creatively constantly, because theoretically it looks like something, but when you start to live in the building it changes its purpose. And sorry, we have a lot of communities and children clubs and little talks, not public talks here in this space. So rehearsal room is a bit of exaggeration, right?
It's a storage. It's one of the storage for the equipment, lights you see, and also but we share this space with the coffee, with the cafe. So there's absolutely no storage spaces in the building for the costume. So we have some space, but not much.
And this is nice. It looks like we are in swimming pool or something.
Yeah, that's a long story. I don't know if you have time for it.
Right now, I think that we are underneath the stage.
Yes.
We can go this way. Camera will go the other way.
As you see, we store stuff
Everywhere you can. Yeah. So
this part of the stage, as we see in front of us, is like fixed. We can't like remove it.
And as far as I know, this is the oldest projection screen in Prague.
wow. Okay. So that's the relic of the history and
Yes.
of
Yes.
the original
Yes.
purpose of
Yes.
the space.
1924.
And it's a funny thing why we don't use it. We had some projection, but you cannot really use it as a movie theater nowadays
Because
the
it's square.
No, because the technical requirements of people for the movie theater are so developed that this space particularly can't fulfill the expectation what a movie theater is. And I think it's important, which we couldn't really see it here, but important thing to say is that this place is accessible for disabled people as well.
Now inside of this meeting room, which is built inside of the main hall. So from when you see, you can't see the interior of the space.
Just kind of interesting. So the way, kind of like every single show you are doing here, I mean like theater show, you really need to redo the space like again and again. It's not like black box.
Yes, yes, but I think it influences the dramaturgy remarkably. You cannot think of the venue as of let's play here, perform here on the stage, and let's have the auditorium here. This is the last like option when we think about theater here. The moment you enter, you start to think about theater in a completely different way.
This is one of the advantages of the space, that we can build here anything, almost anything. Like starting from a film set, crazy film set like we saw it before, or let's say almost classical theater.
Because like the half of the room is basically the set which we saw, we were in it, and now we can see like set of some kind of like student movie or something like that.
Yeah, students from the film faculty in Prague, they just...
And this is actually the main entrance, even though when you see the cafe downstairs, you usually think of cafe as the main entrance.
So we have two like separate entrances for the audience, which is this one, and also the other one towards the cafe. It's like the internal staircase through the building towards the production of offices.
And I wanted to say one thing about the dramaturgy. The moment we opened, we started to receive many emails from various, I would even say classical or traditional theater groups, which wanted to perform their pieces here. But we tried not to program the place as a classical repertoire theater. And you could easily do that because there's so many people interested in like having their repertoire kind of system. Let's perform our piece here once or twice a month. But we try to think about the space in a different way.
So it's not like every single show can be here. It's more like it should fit to the whole context and the whole architecture and everything.
Or try to think why the show had to be created here specifically.
The space is specific, so it's not like when you build kind of like generic black box theater where you can do anything you want, and it's only about the topics, because like the space is generic. Here is different. You have to respect the context around Vršovice, the context of the building, and so on.
And maybe we should point to our last exhibition surface, which is here on the building, under the curatorship of Denisa Václavová, who is a big help regarding the visual art. And every quarter of the year we have a remarkable piece of some Czech visual artist done and created specifically for this place.
Yeah, I think the first one was Quintera, no? It was the strudel recipe.
Yes, a recipe for apple strudel.
Now it's Eva Koťátková, and next month it will change into Alena Kocmanová. It was like a photography, so different style.
So I think this is it. Do you have anything else? What you want to say?
We would like to become a remarkable venue on the European Independent Theatre map, I think.
I think that's great ambition, and I wish you the best to do it.
And of course we have to say that we are the proud members of the Vršovice.
Maybe come closer.
We are the proud members of the Vršovice community, you know. So we're not like just Prague, but Vršovice first.
Okay, so important to note, not Prague, but Vršovice. That's the place. Okay, this is it. Thank you, and I hope that we said everything. And if we didn't say anything, I think the good idea is to contact Marta or you or anyone from Vzlet. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.